Hello, my name is Alan Baez, and I'm here to discuss about Americans with disabilities in the workforce. To begin with, Americans with disabilities in the workforce, they already have to go against prejudices and all these other things that people think about them in society itself, let alone when they get into the workforce. I mean, I know tons of girls that say, oh, that guy's a creep, that guy's this, that guy's weird, but it's not their fault. They just think a little differently, and in my opinion, they see the world in a different angle than we, us normal people, and I say that sarcastically, see the world. And sometimes, they're at a disadvantage in the workforce, and that honestly, is something I felt that I should talk about. To begin with, the American Disabilities Act, it was in place to ensure equality and to help, people with disabilities get the same jobs, get paid the same, get the same benefits of vacation and all promotions. But then again, in my personal experience and knowledge, how many general managers have you seen that have disabilities? How many? Not because they can't do it, just because they do things at a different pace, or because they just do things in a different way, and it's not seen as sometimes wrong or not the right way. And that I have a personal connection to that because of my family member that has a disability, who isn't physically disabled at all. You see him as a normal guy, but he's just, he has a slower way of thinking and has a different way of thinking, and sometimes he can't get certain opportunities because of it. And that's why I feel like, the American Disabilities Act, there's loopholes to it, but it's going in the right direction. The human resource, they're all about trying to ensure that they get the equality, and they're there, that's their job, to help them. But at the same time, I mean, there's only so much they can do. Those are their humans too, and they're there to help out as best as they can. One of the things I wanted to touch on is the fact that all Americans, whether they're disabled or not, are losing jobs. We're losing jobs. The workforce is getting extremely competitive. You have to have an edge over the next guy, and sometimes having a disability is not having that edge. It's actually a downgrade, or it's actually somebody that it's seen as a bad thing, and that is something we have to fix, and something we as a society have to change that mentality. That just because they're disabled or labeled as that, whether it's physically or just mentally, that they can still accomplish things. They can still work hard, and they can still do things to help a corporation succeed. But some people just don't want to deal with it because they don't have the patience, or they just don't want to deal with that. And honestly, that just makes me feel uneasy about it. Just because I want to get the message out there that just because they're labeled as disabled doesn't mean that they actually are incapacitated or not able to do certain things. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do it. Like, obviously, there's certain people that are sort of limitations, but I've seen people that are labeled disabled, and they're smarter and better than some of the guys that are, normal. Another thing I wanted to touch on is the fact that, they have to go through the struggles that you and I go through when we go to work, but they have to go through those same struggles, plus the additional struggle of being disabled or having to deal with whatever other issue they have to deal with. And that is a big issue. People don't see that side. People just see them in the workforce. They just see them at their job. They just see them clocking in or having trouble doing this or having trouble doing that. But think about all the issues that you and I go through when we go to work, and now think about that, plus having to be disabled, or plus having to people just, looking at you a different way just because you see the world differently. And that makes me uncomfortable, just because I wish the world wasn't like that. I wish we could just treat disabled people the same way. And honestly, I wish I could get this out to 1,000,000 viewers and hopefully change the people's opinions, but some people just won't understand. That kind of just wraps me up on what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to really reiterate that, Americans with disabilities that are in the workforce should be seen as the same. They shouldn't be seen as the lesser employee, or the employee that you have to pay as much, the one that will never get promoted. Those are the people that you just gotta, egg on. You can do it, you can do that. Because honestly, I feel like any human, if you push with confidence and they push you in the right direction, you have the right encouragement, can accomplish anything. And that's just my opinion. And thank you for your time.